Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my channel. This is my first video and I'd like to use this video as a lawful notice. It is a public announcement and I wish to notify and correct the records with all the living men and women on planet Earth, as well as all the public agents acting on behalf of the de facto bankrupt corporate entities we all know of as governments, and all subsidiary corporate entities that operate, departments that operate beneath this corporate umbrella, as debtors to the creditors of the world and those families and those living men and women with significant control, to the IMF, the World Bank, the Bank of International Settlements, the Universal Postal Union, and all these international alphabet agencies, as well as the Vatican, the City of London, the District of Columbia, and the British accredited registered lawyers, liars, solicitors, attorneys, and judges in their de facto court system. I wish to notify all of you that I, Alexander-George Middleditch, is with the Live Life claim, written with the correct name, in the correct language, in the correct grammar, with one word, one meaning, one thought, one sentence, on a geometric level playing field, as secured party creditor of my government created fiction that you created through your paper trickery by registered birth certificate, where you've now subrogated yourselves as trustee, and I am now operating as executor and beneficiary to my Cesti Cuvi trust that you set up from my birth. As well as in the theatre of commerce, I'm always conducting my affairs as postmaster and captain of my document contract vessel, under the correct language with David Windmiller's quantum grammar technology, and at all times reserving my unalienable God-given rights, acting honourably and peaceably upon the earth, where I do not infringe on the life, rights, liberties and properties of another living soul. So you have been notified. This is a notice. I'm no longer part of your fictional realm of mirrors and two-dimensional dead entities, dead and lost at sea. I am now alive and very much kicking. So take note, correct the records, for the records, on the records. Thank you. And guys, if you really want to understand a bit more about what it is I did here with this public announcement, and please do hit the subscribe button. I will be posting many more videos to give you more insight as to the importance of having a Live Life claim, as well as knowing how to pen your own letters, and the importance of understanding properly the grammar and the fraud used in the language by this current judiciary and current government, shadow government and shadow banking system, to keep us all operating under assumption and presumption, where they have us joined to a two-dimensional fiction that is otherwise like our reflection in a mirror, or the shadow we cast from our factual three-dimensional self. They all got us convinced that all these laws, all these corporate acts, statutes, regulations, legislations apply to us, the living, when they don't. It's all an eddy, it's a puff of smoke, it's an illusion. You're in the house of mirrors. And so like Bruce Lee did, and like I've done and many other individuals have done, like David-Win, Miller, Russell-J, Gold, and Mark-Kishon, Christopher, and now myself, thanks to these wonderful gentlemen sharing and making this knowledge accessible of all the tricks and traps within the governments, the judiciary, and the hidden controllers of this planet, the creditors and the debtors, and what's going on with the money, banking and finance, and the laws and the legal system. We can now serve them and get them to bugger off and correct the records and correct this whole system, and at least stop and correct your life, so that you can live a more prosperous, wealthy, unfearful, happy and joyous life, where you have full control of your paper documents and your ens legis corporate self, where they can't touch you. And I have all first-hand knowledge of doing this, and I've really stepped into the sovereignty spirit, and this is something I want every single person on this planet who is seeking the truth and who's seeking a valid solution to otherwise dispel the fear that is happening all around us, given what's going on in 2020, and know that it all applies to fictional dead entities. It does not apply to you as a three-dimensional, factual, living being with a flesh, body, mind and soul that they've otherwise convinced on paper that you're legally dead, which is why they can get away with all their treason, all their fraud and all their abuse and exploitation. So yeah, guys, please hit the subscribe button. I do have a website where I have a course that I've compiled, which is very succinct and it cuts right to the chase with all first-hand knowledge of scanned letters and dealings with these agents, these bankrupt agents, and all the tricks and traps I expose and blow out the water and shatter all the mirrors, so you guys can see and really carry the spirit and confidence of becoming your own boss, your own sovereign, your own master, your own king or queen, your own judiciary. All these things that otherwise have been robbed from us through education, we can now start taking in the house. And that's what sovereignty means. If you really want to become sovereign, check out my course, Sovereignty Masterclass, on the website, link below. Also subscribe. I'll be posting many more videos giving you insights as to everything I've learnt with first-hand dealings with these institutions that completely and utterly just dispels all fear, and you can live an empowering and free life as God, the Most High, intended, and how these governments initially were created to protect, but they've otherwise sold us out big time. So it's up to every single one of us to stop and correct them. And we can only do that by the paper. Be smart. This is where your whole life is run, on bits of paper. The money, the contracts, the laws, your whole world is run on bits of paper. Your licenses, try and go anywhere without a bit of paper. Your license, your passport. So you need to become a master author of your own documents in the correct language, and recognize the language fraud, recognize the problem in order to justify and appreciate the wonderful solution that David Miller, Russell J. Gold and Mark Hitchell and Christopher, or David Miller, discovered with the mathematical interface of language, breaking the mathematical code in the language and exposing the whole tricks and traps that just this judiciary have done on humanity for thousands of years in order to just siphon away our sweat equity, our productivity and creativeness, because they're parasitical organisations, they're middlemen, they're interlopers. We've got no right, but the only way they get away with it is due to our very ignorance. And they rely on ignorance of the law as no excuse, which is why you do not know a thing about money, banking and finance. You do not know a thing about the law, what happens in the courts, for the tricks and traps. You don't know what constitutes a valid contract. You don't know that your whole life is on paper. Your driver's licenses, your passports. Try and do everything. Try and do anything without a bit of paper. You can't. So crack the code, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe, check out my website, email me if you have any questions in relation to my course, and become educated, and you will start living a wonderful life. Okay, until then, watch out for new video updates and notifications. Stay safe and seek the truth as always, act honourably and stay sovereign. Or if you're not sovereign, do my course, become sovereign and then stay sovereign. All right guys, take care.